Hello and welcome, subscribers and new viewers. For those who are new, I am Katja. This is my vlog, Katja Writes Books. And today's vlog is going to be a wrap up and reflection of my kind of 2025 writing process, year, all those things. I only just started this vlog at the beginning of December and had every intention of doing one or two kind of bigger updates beyond the shorts that I've been posting when I do actually get a chance to write, but that didn't quite work out. So going forward, I am going to try to do like one update a month, probably at the end of the month, but also who knows, maybe a quarterly update might work better. I'm still going to be doing those shorts every time that I sit down and write and do something creatively. Every time I do something kind of creative that has to do with my writing, I'm going to stop and try to make sure that I'm recording that part of the process and what I dealt with, if there were problems, things like that in those shorts, and I'll keep posting those. But these longer videos, guys, my cat, one of my cats, I have four of them, Chai, just like came up behind the computer and just came up with, you saw her little ears and little face, and we might be blessed with her presence here in a second. I don't know. She's just off screen. Maybe you can see her over there. But anyways, back to the focus of the writing vlog, which although Chai is perfect, I know that that is not why you guys are here, or maybe it is. Maybe it is for my cats. Oat Milk joins me on a lot of my little shorts updates. But anyways, I am really enjoying this process of vlogging, and I'm still kind of figuring out my style, so just keep sticking with me, please, and we're going to see what 2026 brings. Another thing that's kind of been part of my problem is remembering to record things. I'm just very used to just doing them, and now I have to remember to like take that video or screenshot my writing stats and do all these things. So we're getting there. It's a learning process. Thank you to those of you who have stuck with me so far, and welcome to everybody who's new. All right, so back to my wrap up and the reflection part of this video, which is what this is actually about. So I'm going to start with, I feel kind of like the easy part, which is what I have done and what I've accomplished. And at first I was like, have I really done that much? Like, what did I do? But then when I started to think about it, I actually have done several things. So this is my list. I have written over 150,000 words this year. I have finished and queried a manuscript that I've been working on since 2020. Yeah. That I love this manuscript so much. It's one of my absolute favorites. I feel because I'm working on it, I'm going to say it's my favorite, but I feel like that might not be true. I feel like the one I just started to revisit might actually be my favorite. But I love them both. I don't want to really pick a favorite child. So anyways, I finished and queried that manuscript. I started querying that in July of this past year. I'm going to talk about query stats in a couple more minutes. I wrote another, so part of that 150,000 words, 66,000 of that was that new manuscript that I've been working on since August. And it's something that I worked on in the past, but I'm updating it to meet my new skill level and changing it from young adult to adult, adding a lot of things, and really kind of leaning into all the things that I was not capable of doing, you know, those 8 years ago. And I love this story. So I'm really proud of the changes I've made and how it's all finally coming together, because that has been an 8-year process. So I'm also kind of learning now that maybe my process is not a short one. I am going to be a long-term project kind of a person. It's going to take me a while. But maybe if I had the time to just creatively work, I would be able to have like a better turnaround that the publishing atmosphere would probably love. And speaking of that, I applied for and was selected for the Chateau d'Orquevaux writing residency in 2026. I'm super stoked about this, and I'll talk about it a little bit more. All right, I've expanded my writing community. I found support and encouragement. I learned to slow down and embrace my own truths about writing and creativity. I started an author newsletter, and I started this vlog. So it's like a huge list of things that are all very important to my writing process. And in the sphere of publishing, I know it looks like you're like, okay, I was stagnant. I didn't do anything. I didn't get an agent. I didn't get a book deal. But the progress that I made is really phenomenal nonetheless. And 2025 has really been a slog, to say the least, for lots of different reasons. I mean, we're waking up every day to like some new buffoonery happening. in our nation, and just having to deal with all the fallout from that. And for me, writing has actually been like the one constant. It's the place I found the most comfort, encouragement. Um, for many reasons, my mental and emotional health had taken a serious hit from outside influences. And sometimes that made it really hard to pick up a pencil, or sit down and give myself permission to get lost in these imaginary worlds and to find a peacefulness there. But I did. And every word that I wrote really reminded me, of my self worth, despite what other people would have me believe. Um, so I've spent a lot of 2025 stopping to ask myself what my heart wants and how to follow that path. And every single time, without fail, it comes back to writing. It's just something that I find so much joy and fulfillment with. And I want to write, and I want to do writing adjacent things full time. I don't want to just stagnate in that reality where I'm not appreciated or treated kindly, which is kind of a lot of the outside world at this point. Um, and I'm working towards that end. So, back to the querying thing, I sent out a total of 70 queries this year for 2 different projects, um, 48 for my project that I finished in July, and then I sent out about another 22 for a project that I've been querying actually for almost like a year and a half to 2 years. But this was a whole brand new iteration. There are new agents out there. And I was like, you know what? I have this project. I'm going to put it out there. And I did get, one was very close. It was so close. It was very sad. Chai. So welcome, Chai. This is my third oldest kitten. Third oldest? Yes, third oldest. She's the third child. She's the one who's going to be all up in your business and making things happen. So back to the queries. So of those, all 70 though, I had 50 passes. A lot of those were just based on the query and pages. But I did have a total of 6 requests for fulls or for more material. I have one that was a partial, that is still out, and I do have one full that is still out for my most recent project, Harpy Girls, which I queried starting in July. So that's kind of what's out there, right? And so those passes were filled with compliments on my craft and the premise, but just for one reason or another, the agent didn't connect with it on the level that they felt they needed in order to sufficiently represent me, which again is publishing. Like everything has to align, everything has to be perfect in order for that agent to be like, yes, I want this one. And 2 of those rejections for that current project came from agents who are very highly respected in the business. They are from like really highly regarded agencies. So I do take their compliments to heart, and I just continue to bide my time. I'm sad, of course, because who wouldn't be sad? But I'm holding out. It's going to happen, and I am going to find my champion. So please cross your fingers for me as the other 2 that I still have out. And there's also a handful of agents that I'm very excited to query in 2026 once they open. They have been closed for the past, 6 months. And this time of year is always hard to query in. There's so many people that are closed, but then January hits and a lot of people open. It's that like New Year rush. So I'm excited to hopefully take advantage of that, and get my work in front of more people. I know I've mentioned before that I had this really cool business called the Scribbler's Den. I'm repping my own self today. It's my writing adjacent business that's focused on helping other writers level up their craft, and actually like applies educational theory, because I'm an educational master, guys. I know my stuff. I know my curriculum. I know how to design things. I am peak, right? So I'm making some really big changes to that. And one of those is that we're hosting our first in-person writing retreat this summer, and I'm so excited. I have got Alexandra Overy and Joan Reardon, who are both fantasy authors in the middle grade and young adult sphere, who have written phenomenal books, and they are coming to kind of like be the instructors. There's 12 spots available. Bellamy is going to be there. I think Bellamy has been in other videos with me. And it's going to be so much fun. So I highly recommend that you check that out. You can go to my website, www.scribblersden.org, click on the little events and retreat tab, and you can do that. So I have so many cool things planned. I don't want to get too off track from my writing, talking business, but it's something that makes me so excited to talk about. And when you have that passion, you have to follow it. It's just like my writing. I get so excited to talk about my characters and my stories and the themes in those stories and why those stories matter to me. And that's how I know that I'm following my heart. So I have that passion there, and I can't stop that from like being present, right? And I feel the same way about the Scribbler's Den. So I'm really, really excited about that. Please check out my website, sign up for the newsletter. That would be fantastic. As far as like the slowing down aspect of writing, that has been a really rocky road for me for a very long time. I've always pushed myself to write every day, all year long, and I would have a lot of guilt when I didn't meet that self-imposed standard. Over the course of 2025, I have learned to step back from the process and prioritize what my body is telling me regarding stress and distractions, because it has been a lot. Now I rarely write during the week anymore because my mind is just not able to do that. And I kind of just hold on to my creativity, and I unleash it on the weekends, and I hold space for that, and I let that be my time. And that means saying no to a lot of other things. And it means people outside of my writing community not always understanding why I would choose to spend my weekend at home alone with my cats, of course, or nestled into the corner of a coffee shop, just typing on my computer or writing in my notebooks. But really honoring myself, and my need for creativity has been one of the few rays of light of 2025. It hasn't been easy, but it's also shown me who my true friends are, and that is definitely its own reward. Friendship is a really big thing for me. It's actually a huge aspect of every novel that I write. And just knowing that I have that support and those people saying, yeah, it's okay to put yourself first sometimes, that's been very enlightening for me in 2025, and it's something that I need to do. And funnily enough, I actually had a Reiki session just a few days ago to help me kind of close out 2025 and reset for 2026. And during the session, my person was like, I'm kind of getting this message, and it's your energy is saying that you need to be 20% more selfish. And we both laughed because it was such a strange message to receive. Like, who tells you, you know what, you need to be more selfish? But the more I think about it, the more accurate it is. And it applies to a lot of different aspects in my life, but also to my writing. And I tend to think I'm being selfish a lot of times, but actually I'm so busy trying to people please all the time, despite the boundaries that I've slowly been putting into place over the past year. And so it's not so much me thinking I'm selfish, it's other people who don't like the boundaries that I've set, around my life and around my writing and around things like that, who are the ones that think and see me as being selfish or calling me selfish. And then I was allowing myself to believe that. So don't believe what other people are talking about you, because it's usually not true, right? But my ancestors and my energy were like, no, no, girl, 20% more selfish. You got to do this. So I got it. I'm going to continue to put myself first, to really prioritize my writing and my creativity. Message received. Thank you so much. So if any of that resonated with you, then I encourage you to also be more selfish too. So prioritize your writing, because you should, right? It's something that brings you joy. It's something that makes you happy. Creativity is such a precious gift, and it needs to be given the space that it deserves in your life. And that's something that I've really tried to embrace over this past year. So I encourage you to do it in 2026. If you have not already done that, or if you're starting, keep going. Just keep grabbing that creativity, holding it close, and giving it the life that it deserves, right? And that space for creativity, this leads right back into one of the most unexpected things to happen to me in 2025, was actually being accepted into that writing residency program at Chateau de Hautevaux. And to be clear, this isn't because I doubted my writing. It's really because the majority of writing residencies focus on literary fiction rather than fantasy. And I am not a literary writer. That is just not my style. It's just not, right? I write fantasy. I want to have fun with it. I want to play with things. And my voice is not literary in any ways. So when I got that email, at first my brain was like, wait, this is a prank. Like, they're just doing this. This can't be real. But then it settled, and it was just really affirming to have that outside recognition of my writing. Um, the residency at Chateau de Orquevaux really only accepts about 20% of applicants, and I am one of them. Even better, I get to attend with two of my dearest writing friends who have been with me since I started my writing journey almost 10 years ago. Um, and that's just so cool to know that I will be traveling with them and attending with them. Um, and get to have that now as like part of my writing resume. Like I was one of those 20% of people that was chosen. Um, Not only am I excited to spend time writing in my historic maison, but I'm going to eat so many pastries and enjoy wine and champagne. Um, and I can't wait to expand my writing community overseas. Like, there's just so many extras to this. And I think that like community aspect, getting to talk with people who are going to be coming from such different backgrounds than me, and seeing their process and talking about their troubles and their triumphs and sharing mine. It's going to be this moment. I cannot wait. So being recognized for my writing skill and being afforded that opportunity to just have focused writing time is something that every writer wants. And it has taken me 10 years, but I got there. So I guess that's like they don't ever give up, like your time will come type of a thing. Um, I will, when I'm over there, I will be doing my best to do daily updates, and sharing all the details once I'm there, those kinds of things. And I will definitely be taking some videos of the delicious pastries, food, and glasses of wine that I drink. I also definitely need to brush up on my barely passable French, which I have not explored since 1998 when I took French 3 in high school. Aidez-moi. What am I going to do? But I'm working on it. And I will be able to hopefully communicate on some level, with people there, because I have a lot of respect for traveling to other places, and trying to like I want to speak that language. I want to communicate, and honor them by putting that effort in. Like they should not. It's I don't know. That's a whole other thing. We're not getting into that. All right, so I've rambled on a bit more than I intended, but I hope that my looking back at my writing year and progress shines a light on all the fabulous things that you've also done this year. I am saving my 2026 goals for another video. Maybe it'll come out tomorrow, maybe in a few days. Who knows? We're going to see what it brings. But my planning board is ready. My latest manuscript is printed, and I am super excited for what's on the horizon in my very slow and steady journey to publication. So thank you all for watching, and Happy New Year. Bye, guys.